This Old Stereotype, The Pervasiveness and Persistence of the Elderly Stereotype, presented by Haylyn Hanks,
Sammy Aldriedge,
and Amanda Pearson.
Our reference is by Cuddy, Norton, and Fisk, titled This Old Stereotype, The Pervasiveness and Persistence of the Elderly Stereotype, found in the Journal of Social Issues. The general topic of our point is the widespread stereotype of elderly people in the United States is being studied by psychologists to highlight what evokes the younger demographic to believe these stereotypes. The title of our journal entry is This Old Stereotype, The Pervasiveness and the Persistence of the Elderly Stereotype. Authors are Amy J.C. Cuddy, Michael I. Norton, and Susan T. Fisk.
Introduction. The background of this article describes the perception of how elderly people are viewed by the younger demographic in the United States and spreading globally due to their stereotypes being exclusively mixed, persuasive among others, and persistent. Hypothesis. If elderly people are perceived as certain stereotypes, such as warm and incompetent, then discrimination based on age will develop into a new perception, and that viewpoint will spread into a global belief. Methods used. 24 social groups were organized, and American respondents rated the different groups based on warmth that social groups portrayed. Then, they rated the same groups on the premise of incompetency. The respondents rated the elderly social groups to have lower competency whenever they portrayed more warmth characteristics. Participants of a six-nation study were asked to identify traits they assumed of elderly people, most of which were negative traits, which was surprising to researchers because of the origin of their participants and the cultural beliefs of their origin. This provided the belief that ageism is a pan-cultural thing.
The methods in use. Participants from Princeton University undergraduate program were asked to read a synopsis of an elderly person and had to read different variations of competence conditions. The participants who read the high incompetence conditions rated the elderly person as warmer than the person who read the control study in the low incompetence conditions. The results. The results of the study show that the stereotypes the elderly population is resistant to change and spreading worldwide. This is also a costly stereotype because of effects of the mental well-being of the elderly. In conclusion, the effects of acting based on ageism and prejudice is continually progressing without anyone attempting to block its growth. These studies offer new insights to see how lessening ageist belief and behaviors can restore the self-esteem of the elderly population globally. I'm Amanda Pearson, and I chose the meme, Old Man Yells at Cloud, where he's yelling at a cloud. This article is about Abe Simpson, Grandpa, who is seen shaking his fist at a cloud in a gag headline in the 2002 season of The Simpsons. This use of satire in The Simpsons can be derived from the elderly population tending to get angry over subjects that they themselves have no control over. This is seen by the elderly generation as ageism because of the way it describes their mental capacity as lacking once they reach a certain age.
I'm Sammy Aldriedge, and I decided to use the meme Internet for Dummies, and that's where Homer Simpson can't figure out the internet, so he has to read a book about it. This meme is from season 12 of The Simpsons, depicting Homer Simpson not understanding how the internet works. He is reading the satiric version of For Dummies books about the internet. Homer is showing the example of how age can deteriorate competence as you age, and time continually progresses around you. The elderly view this as an untrue stereotype because their mental competence is only lessened by lack of unuse, not their age.
My name is Haylyn Hanks, and I chose With It meme. It says, used to be with it, but then they changed what it was. Now what I'm with isn't it, and what's it seems scary and weird. And it'll happen to you, too. This meme is projecting that Abe Simpson, also known as Grandpa, is shown in this photo in season 7 when he was quote-unquote middle-aged. He's yelling at his younger son, Homer, and a younger version of Barney Grumble. Abe is talking about a concept of the past world and having it being developed over and is now irrelevant to society today. This assumption of the developed generation of elderly people not being able to assimilate into modern society due to their incapability of change.